Picture a hole in the ground, 13 meters straight down. No light, no air moving. You'd need ropes, a headlamp, and a reason to go in. Now imagine climbing down that hole and finding a skull. Not just old, not just human. Cracked open. Twice. In the exact same spot. That skull is 430,000 years old. And the people who study it believe it belongs to the oldest known murder victim on Earth. This is the story of how they proved it. The place is called Cima de los Huesos, the Pit of Bones. It sits deep inside a cave system in northern Spain called Atapuerca. To reach it, you have to crawl on your stomach through narrow rock corridors. Then drop down a vertical shaft that swallows your flashlight beam whole. At the bottom, there's no source of natural light. There never was. No animal wanders down here by accident. No river carries bodies this far into solid rock. And yet, this pit is packed with human remains. Thousands of bones. At least 28 individuals. All from a species that vanished long before us. So the first question isn't who killed anyone. It's simpler and stranger. How did all these bodies end up at the bottom of a hole no one could survive falling into twice? For years, scientists debated it. Did these people fall in one by one over centuries? Were they dragged in by predators? Or, and this is the theory that unsettled the whole field, were they put there? On purpose? By other humans? If that's true, it would be the oldest deliberate burial ever found. Older than religion? Older than writing? Older than most definitions of human we're comfortable using. But burial raises a darker question underneath it. If someone was placing bodies down there with intention, how did those bodies die in the first place? That's when researchers turned their attention to one skull in particular, cataloged simply as Cranium 17. It took years to piece together. The skull had shattered into 52 fragments before it was found. Researchers reconstructed it slowly, fragment by fragment, like solving a puzzle with no picture on the box. When it finally came together, something stood out immediately. Two holes, both above the left eye. Both roughly the same size. Both clearly made before this person died. Not after, not by the cave, not by time. The kind of damage a skull only gets from a direct, violent blow. But one wound could be an accident. A fall. A rock. A tumble down a slope in the dark. Two wounds change the math entirely. This is where the case stopped being archaeology and started looking like a crime scene investigation. The research team brought in forensic specialists, the kind who normally analyze modern trauma victims. They studied the shape of each wound, the angle each blow came from, the force required to cause that kind of fracture. And here's what they found. Both wounds were made by the same object. Both came from the same direction. Both struck with lethal force, enough to break through bone. If this had been a fall, the injuries would scatter randomly across the skull. They didn't. They lined up. Two strikes, same spot, same trajectory. The kind of pattern you get from someone standing over another person. Swinging. Twice. Scientists don't get to skip steps. Not with a claim this heavy. So they tested every other explanation first. Could an animal have caused it? No bite marks. No claw scoring. Wrong shape entirely. Could it have happened after death? From rockfall or cave collapse? No. The bone had already begun healing in that region before the fatal blows, meaning this person was alive when the wounds occurred and died from them, or shortly after. Could it have been one accident that just looked like two? The researchers ran the geometry. The odds of a single fall producing two identical, separately angled fractures were vanishingly small. One by one, the alternatives fell away. What was left was the simplest explanation, and the most disturbing one. Someone did this to another person on purpose. Then their body ended up at the bottom of a vertical shaft that living humans could not have fallen into by chance. Here's where the story splits into two possibilities, and both of them are unsettling in different ways. Possibility 1. The body was dumped, killed elsewhere, carried to the pit, and disposed of, hidden from a community that might never have found him. Possibility 2. The body was placed there deliberately by people who knew exactly what had happened and chose this pit as his resting place anyway. If that second option is true, it means something enormous. It means the same species capable of this kind of violence was also capable of grief, of ritual, of caring enough about their dead to carry a body through a pitch-black cave system and lower it into the earth. Violence and reverence in the same species at the same moment in time. That combination is the part researchers still argue about today. Before this discovery, most assumptions about early humans followed a simple, comforting line. Empathy came late. Morality came late. Complex emotional behavior came late. Early humans, the thinking went, were closer to animals than to us. Cranium 17 breaks that timeline. Whoever swung that weapon felt something strong enough to kill over. Rage, fear, territory, betrayal. We'll never know which. And whoever may have carried that body into the dark felt something just as powerful in the opposite direction. Loss, duty, maybe even love, in whatever form it took 430,000 years ago. Both of those instincts, the capacity for violence and the capacity to mourn it, were already fully formed. Long before language as we know it. Long before anything we'd call civilization. They were already there, in the dark, at the bottom of a pit no one was meant to find. We'll never know his name. We'll never know who stood over him. We'll never know if it was one person or a struggle or something planned in advance. The forensic evidence can tell us how he died. It can't tell us why. And maybe that's the detail that makes this story stick. Every murder we know from history comes with a motive on record somewhere. A letter, a witness, a confession. This one comes with nothing but bone. A silence 430,000 years deep. Here's the one thing worth carrying out of that cave. Humanity's darkest instincts and its deepest tenderness didn't arrive separately, centuries apart. They arrived together. In the same species. Possibly in the same week. Long before we had a word for either one.